Glenn Greenwald, thank you very much indeed. Now let's discuss this further with Baroness Pauline Neville-Jones, the former chair of the Joint Intelligence Committee, and Auntie Barnett, the founder of Open Democracy. Shouldn't we have been told about all of this stuff anyway?
No, I think that government does have to have powers, actually, to protect us. I mean, the extraordinary things that were being said by Glenn Greenwald, in particular, the most astounding thing, which I simply don't credit that he actually believes, that the Russians aren't and the Chinese aren't in full possession now of both technique and information.
So you actually believe
Edward
this
Snowden is extremely damaging.
I think why do you believe that to be the case?
Well, because, I mean, the Russian capabilities are very great. He has absolutely no defences against them. They will have taken possession of his computers and they will have gone into them. And I don't think there's any doubt at all that they now have a great deal of information which is damaging to our security, and which is the result of betrayal on the part of a trusted employee.
Well, I know that you left, as it were, the services a while ago, but did you know all this was going on?
Well, look, the world has changed with the internet. I mean, we talk about, the people who are worried about this talk about this huge explosion in surveillance. It's a function of the massive increase in the transmission and communication.
So you knew it was happening?
Which means, no, interception has always taken place. You can intercept the mails, you can intercept telephone calls. Is the government, do people believe that's happening? No. Why should they therefore think that when in a situation where you have enormous expansion of communications, which requires, for purposes of protection then, to have comparable powers of collection in order to be intercept, to find the tiny bits that really matter, that all the rest of it is being read? It is not, Kirsty.
It's not being read. It is only there to catch the few.
It's not about tiny bits, Kirsty. I mean, I spent a political lifetime telling people, mainly on the left, not to be paranoid. You know, Thatcher was not introducing fascism, Blair was not creating a dictatorship. We now face the greatest threat to our liberties since the Second World War. We're sleepwalking into despotism because of the amount of material that is being collected, because these databases, which are not about tiny items of information, will be used, and not just by governments. Snowden was working for a corporation. They will be accessed by others than government. And because, perhaps most important of all, people will start to self-censor. We will find that the very fact of our the total surveillance of our activities means that we are going to start. It's not a question, as the foreign minister said, of if you haven't done anything wrong, you have nothing to fear. This structure of surveillance will stop us doing things that are right, that we know we should be doing.
But do you think we have sleptwalked into this, in the sense that, you know, Pauline Neville-Jones will say there are checks and balances, but do you think people actually understand the nature of metadata and how it operates and the connections that are made?
No, and that's partly the fault of the BBC's own reporting, because people doing metadata, as one person said, we don't talk about metadata, everyone will fall asleep.
Well, actually, nobody fell asleep during Gordon
No,
Blair's
I agree. It's very, very important. But there is a pattern. We now have an electronic life, from the GPS in our telephone to our texts, to the web pages we access. And what the intelligence services are doing is they're gathering billions, 20 billion item of information.
But Glenn Greenwald is right.
No, let me just finish this. And they are creating a pattern of how we live. So it's not about reading the content of the email. It's not about getting the content. It's about mapping who we are.
But Glenn Greenwald's right, isn't it? Terrorism would be terrorists, you know, are smart. Now they've known this has been happening. They've presumably known this has been happening.
They still have to communicate. Of course they know. They take risks. They still know. They still have to communicate.
Against listening to the communication of terrorists.
You have to find them in the first place, and that is why you have to collect the material. I mean, I'm sorry, you can't know where these things. You have to actually go through the data in order to get the clues that enable you actually then to put the
Glenn Greenwald, what does it matter? What does it matter what the Brazilians are doing at Petrobras? That's the point, isn't it? What does it matter? The problem is, isn't it, that you might be going after terrorists, but actually there's lots of other interests in here.
It's about social control.
That actually, using it for business reasons.
I entirely accept, and I agree.
So how do you
there does need to be control over the system.
Yep.
There does need to be accountability in it.
Okay, do you believe there's enough control?
What I do believe is that they're acting according to law. I do believe, on the other hand, that given the public anxiety that's been aroused by this, that we do need to have actually a body like the Intelligence and Security Committee actually do a review.
So in a way, is that a good thing then? Is it a way
not in the pocket?
Sorry. Metadata is not under the law. Metadata is not allowed. It is acting beyond the law at the moment. And this is a crucial point here. And the idea that the intelligence services sit there saying, give us all the raw data, we need a clue, and search through is absurd. If you have a clue, then you have access to track something.
Can I just put something to you that was in Gordon Carrera's film, that actually there has been a deliberate undermining by the security services of encryption?
There's always been a tension, which is not new, between the need for security and the ability also to intercept communications. This is not a new tension.
Would you say, hand on heart, that actually, in a way, because you think there should be a review, that Glenn Greenwald was right?
No, absolutely not. No, I don't. No, and I do think, but I do think
no question that he's done a huge public service.
What the ISC, the Intelligence and Security Committee, needs to do is actually
in the House of Commons.
It's a joint committee of both houses, of very senior MPs. So there's no reason to suppose they're in the government's
in the pocket.
But if you were to put one thing to Glenn,
any more than the judges who act as information commissioners or handmaidens of the executive.
If you were to put one thing to Glenn Greenwald, what would it be? Would it be about having given up secrets already? You're sure of it?
I think it's no way that young man will have been able to resist.
Can I just put that to you, Glenn Greenwald, that here is a very senior intelligence expert in this country saying there is no way on earth that Edward Snowden has not had to give up something in Russia, or indeed perhaps before that in China.
The ignorance of those comments is truly astounding to me. First of all, you would think that a rational person, before making an extremely serious accusation, like Russia and China has gotten all of his data, would have at least a little bit of evidence before saying that. There is none. What is the basis for it? Some tingly sensation in the stomach? But please let me just make the point. I listened for a long time. I just want to make this point. She said they got the data on his laptops. That isn't how data works. It's not 1998. Data is stored on thumb drives, and on those thumb drives are very sophisticated means of encryption shells that, as I said before, and I know this because I've read the documents that I have on this, not even the NSA can break. The encryption codes are 4,000 characters long. He doesn't even have them encrypted.
Okay, let me just put that to Pauline Neville. That's a clarification. He doesn't even have them.
I mean,
he doesn't have them.
I mean, I just don't think. I don't believe any of that. I mean, the Russians have got very sophisticated capabilities.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, all of you. Today, the